Also, part two, I want to add this. That's why it's so important for you not to be in sexual sin. That's why it's so important for you to not be walking out of alignment with God. I was watching this interview with this guy, this gay man. He was saying that no matter what he does, he still feels like he lives in fear and all this stuff. And no matter what he does, and I'm thinking to myself, it's because you're out of alignment. You're literally in the enemy's camp. He literally owns you. So that's why you live in fear, and that's why you live in fear and constant anxiety, because you are literally out of the order of God. You should not be sleeping with another man, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this. They want to say that, God does have grace, but you still are out of alignment. You are still out of the will of God. It's not God's will for a man and a man to sleep together. It's not God's will for a woman and a woman to sleep together. It's against God's will. And no matter what we say, I don't care what nobody says, you should not be doing that, because it's not in full alignment. It's not in the will of God. It's against his creation, which is to procreate, right? And to subdue the earth, right? And to have dominion. And you cannot do that outside of the will of God, out of alignment. Amen. And so literally the chastisement is the evil spirits that are gnawing on you, eating your flesh, because you are in your fleshly ways and desires out of the will of God, right? Your flesh is eating you alive. So because you're going against the order of God, using your body and vessel against what God has called worthy. Okay, what God has, you are using your vessel against the things that God has called worthy, right? And so that's true. And so I think that's right. And so this is what I want to say. That's why it's so important for you to be in alignment. It's so important for you not to be in sexual sin, because these spirits they have first dibs on you. They can do whatever they want. When you are not in alignment of God, you are in sexual sin. You are fornication. You are masturbating. You doing whatever. You are being greedy and all this, gluttonous and all this stuff. You are lying and stealing. You're not fasting, consecrating. These spirits have first dibs on you. They're taking shots with you. They doing whatever they want to do because you don't listen. You are outside of the will of God. And see, a lot of people don't want to tell the truth. But God has grace. That don't mean you have the right to do what you want to do. Period. God has a standard, and you have to meet that standard. You have to change. You have to do the right thing. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to do whatever they want to do and say, "Oh, God will have God." No, do the right thing. Do the right thing. God does have grace, but you still got to change your ways. Two truths can be the same at one time. God can have grace for you, and you still could be dead wrong. God can have grace for you, and you can still be wrong. God can have grace for you, but you can still be wrong. People don't want to hear that. You still have to face the consequences of your actions. Nothing changes because you decided, oh, because God has grace, so I can do whatever I want. You want to do what you want because you don't want to listen. You want to do whatever you want because you don't want to change. You want to do whatever you want because you want to live in your flesh and have the desires of the flesh. And then when come time to pay up the flesh for the desires that you want, you don't want that tab. But you got to pay for what you delight in, especially when it's against the will of God. You have to pay for that.